Yesterday game was horrendous, bro. I mean, it was bad. I mean, this one might be one for the ages, bro. I can't even lie. The referees just exposed their hand so bad, bro. I mean, they just didn't care no more. They didn't care. The world was watching how bad the cause was. They didn't care at all. They was going to get their issue off against the Fever no matter what. And I'm here to tell you, that's exactly what went down, bro. I mean, they got their issue off in a major way, bro. I mean, there was countless of times I could literally look at the screen and know that was a...
What if I told you the most surprising star of the WNBA isn't a player, but a referee with a grudge and a super intense whistle? Get ready, because we found footage so crazy it makes reality TV look calm. Caitlin Clark didn't just get fouled, she got completely cheated. And the evidence is all over the place. Messier than a kid's spaghetti dinner. You won't believe what this referee did. And yes, it was all caught on camera. Let's dive in.
So lads, today the referees gave the report on the situation, and it's even worse. It's even worse than I imagined. And it was pretty grim. Like, it was a pretty grim overall, it was a pretty grim overall.
Watching the WNBA and seeing how things are run, seeing how things are done, and after you've seen what it looks like to get it right, and you come in and see something looking really wrong, you're going to call it out. It is what it is. You're going to be critical of players. If they do something shady or classless, you're going to call that out.
And the whistle blows again. Not for a foul, not for traveling, just for being Caitlin Clark. At this point, it's not really basketball. It feels more like a messy soap opera where the referees are acting like cartoon villains. With all the missed calls, fake fouls, and oops, didn't see that punch, the WNBA referees have gone from officials to chaos makers with whistles.
I wanted to share with you guys an article that I found that honestly gives us so much insight into the WNBA referees, how they are hired, how much they make. And there's one section that really stood out to me, and they break down essentially why they are making the calls that they make. And they also talk about the influx of new fans flooding to the WNBA. They talk about Caitlin Clark a little bit. This article to me was really telling. It actually came out in January, but it was published by SB Nation, and it's entitled How WNBA Referees Are Scouted, Trained, and Held Accountable.
The audience isn't confused anymore. They're tired. This isn't suspense. It's slow motion sabotage. Bad referees aren't just messing up games. They're taking the fun out of a league that should be growing. Fans watch for real competition, not referee-led chaos. It's like a cooking show where the judges randomly unplug the oven and blame the chef. And Caitlin Clark? She's the chef getting sabotaged, staying polite while her 3-layer cake falls apart on the floor.
You would think with what they say coming into the season, Kathy was made it her business to let them know that, referees is going to be getting assessed for this next season and make sure they're making the right, proper calls. Man, at this point, we need NBA refs all the time, bro. I don't want these YMCA, junior league, high school ass referees, bro. We need real life refs, because as of right now, they're costing the Indiana Fever major games that they definitely need to.
She looks tired, not the kind of tired from playing 40 minutes and scoring 30 points. This is the deep, soul-draining kind of tired that comes from knowing you could score 60 and someone would still call a charge just because you blinked. Caitlin Clark is carrying a whole team, the league, and half of women's basketball fandom on her shoulders. And the referees? They're making it even harder, like tying her shoelaces together every time she moves.
You remember how last year started? You remember the lopsided officiating that we got last year? The All-Star break comes around, the Olympic break rolls around, and then what did we hear from Lynn Dunn? Lynn Dunn goes on the Dan Dockage show, and she calls out the officiating. She calls out the refereeing. She calls out the WNBA. The lopsidedness that is being shown not in favor of the Indiana Fever. The clear biases when it comes to foul calls. The clear biases when it comes to not calling foul calls. Last year, it took us halfway.
Of course she's frustrated. Who wouldn't be? Imagine being amazing at your job, doing incredible things every night, and realizing your biggest opponent isn't even on the other team. It's the referees, who somehow ignore real fouls but call her for normal plays, like she's breaking some secret rule. What's happening isn't just unfair, it's ridiculous, like she accidentally entered a world where logic doesn't exist. And Coach Stephanie White? She didn't just lose her cool, she completely exploded. She was pacing, yelling, and turning bright red, reacting to every awful call. It wasn't coaching anymore. It was showing the world what real-time frustration looks like. The refs weren't even pretending to be fair. They were making up their own rules like it was jazz night.
But holistically, I think Caitlin Clark is a really hard player to officiate, much like Diana Taurasi was throughout the course of her career, for a couple of reasons. Caitlin Clark regularly gets picked up in the full court. She also gets blitzed more over the course of her career than any player in WNBA history or in that period of time. And she also creates some contact herself on the offensive end of the floor. She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her all of the time. That being said, I was in contact with a number of WNBA coaches yesterday about this topic of the officiating in the WNBA, and all of them said it needs...
There's no other way to put it. Caitlin Clark is being treated like she did something wrong, even though all she did was make basketball exciting again. The WNBA wanted attention. Well, mission accomplished. And now the referees are freaking out under the spotlight. They didn't expect fans, replays, or people asking questions. Every bad call is turned into a meme within seconds, and Twitter breaks down every flop and bad whistle in slow motion. Caitlin goes for a fast break. Whistle. She makes a clean steal, violation. She breathes too hard in the key, technical foul. Meanwhile, the other team can throw elbows and get nothing. It's like the referees think the WNBA is a game where Caitlin always loses no matter what. It's not just bad calls, it's mental warfare. She's playing like a veteran in her rookie year, carrying a huge target on her back.
By sharing that the officiating in the WNBA became as hot button of an issue as any. Heated debates surrounding the league's physicality dominated the headlines, particularly when Indiana Fever star rookie Caitlin Clark was subject to several intentional fouls. Now, they also brought up Game 5 of the WNBA Finals. We actually made a whole video about that as well because there were some suspect calls at the end of that game, and a lot of people felt like the WNBA Finals were actually...
She gets up, and someone is there to knock her back down, sometimes literally. Meanwhile, Coach White's sideline reactions are becoming more memorable than the games. She's basically the voice of reason, but reason with red-faced yelling and intense clipboard swinging. You can almost hear her thinking, "Are you serious?" Every 2 minutes. She protests so much, it's a wonder she doesn't have her own post-game therapy show. And can you blame her? Watching her best player get fouled over and over without a call would make anyone lose it. But instead of cheering for Caitlin, we're stuck watching slow-motion clips of her getting blindsided while the refs stand frozen like statues. It's surreal, like we're in a world where real talent is punished and mediocrity gets rewarded.
It took us 4 games for Stephanie White to say, "I've had enough." It's taken 4 games for Stephanie White to say, "You know what? I've had absolute enough. Game 1, okay. Game 2, okay. Game 3, all right." But today was the last straw when it came for Stephanie White. The New York Liberty get to the free throw line 32 times. The Indiana Fever this season have a discrepancy minus 31 when it comes to free throws. That doesn't seem right.
That's exactly how it feels. Fans are noticing. The crowd is louder, the drinks are flowing, and the internet is exploding with evidence. Nobody is buying the "just part of the game" excuse anymore. The games look like they're run by caffeine-fueled interns who think consistency is optional. And if that sounds harsh, it should. This isn't just about Caitlin. It's about what happens when a real star enters a system that can't handle her. The referees are holding onto their power like it's the last slice of pizza, making calls with the confidence of people who've never been reviewed on HD by millions of viewers. Caitlin plays too well, so they make it harder for her. If nothing changes, the season won't end with applause. It'll end with fans leaving, wondering why they ever believed in the game. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, the referees turned the chaos all the way up. They weren't just bad. They were Olympic-level bad, like they learned the rules from a coloring book.
Referees adapt. Why was JC Sheldon's foul upgrade the flagrant one? In the judgment of the officials, the foul by Sheldon was unnecessary. The contact to Clark's face. Furthermore, there was a wind-up and impact, and the contact to face carries potential for injury. How did you come to the conclusion that that is a flagrant one? How did you come up to the conclusion that it was unnecessary? There was a wind-up, and it was to the face. The three of them that is a flagrant 2. By definition, you have described a flagrant.
At one point, it honestly felt like the referees were making up fouls out of thin air while ignoring everything happening to Caitlin Clark and her teammates. Clear contact? Nothing called. A close play? Just good hustle. A full-on WWE-style suplex in the paint? Apparently excellent defense. It's not a conspiracy yet, but if more games keep going like this, we might need to check the refs' earpieces. How else do you explain this pattern of ignoring obvious fouls? It's like the refs made a rule to never see Caitlin get hit, no matter how many times she's flattened on TV. Even crash test dummies get more sympathy. You start wondering if there's a secret meeting at WNBA HQ with execs plotting how to slow down Caitlin without making it obvious. And the referees? They're just carrying out the plan. It's sabotage disguised as officiating. The league seems allergic to momentum. Every time Caitlin finds her rhythm, the refs are there to ruin the play.
WNBA refs are the worst. They really are the worst.
We got to unpaint these narratives. They all have heart. All the mannerisms in basketball are the same. This is going to be the same. Doesn't matter your color, your race, or your religion. That means I shot in your face. This means I'm clapping. I'm excited. How do you make basketball mannerisms about race? Make it make sense. Sometimes we might even push the ref. I'm in the heat of the moment. I'm not a bad person.
Wait, hold up, wait. You be pushing refs, Angel?
Well, I ain't never pushed them, but I've gotten in their face. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause,
Even when you watch the MNBA, I would pray for, and Scott Foster sucks, but I would pray for a Scott Foster in the WNBA. Some of these women's refs, I don't know if you feel this way, Angel, but they have.
Meanwhile, players on other teams are basically showing off on defense and getting rewarded with free throws. It's a circus, and everyone's laughing, except the people actually trying to play basketball. And guess who's nowhere to be found? The commissioner. That mysterious silent boss who never responds. You'd get quicker answers from a magic 8-ball than from her office. Players get hit, fans erupt, commentators lose it, and she's completely silent. Try finding a public comment from her. You'd have better luck spotting Bigfoot in a referee uniform. Her leadership is consistent only in one way. She's always absent. Days pass, scandals pile up, bad calls make headlines, and she seems stuck in a coma of apathy and endless beige emails. It's like she's running the league from a treehouse with no Wi-Fi. Penalties take forever. Fines happen after a week-long nap, and she reacts to crises like a tortoise reacting to a fire. Slow, confused, and walking the wrong way.
Said it before and I will say it again. The WNBA as an organization is insufferable, and you would be hard pressed to find another organization that is as committed to self-imploding as the WNBA.
There is no place in basketball for somebody to be poked in the eye and then they're saying Caitlin Clark is flopping. In what world is she flopping? Oh, she flailed and she fell over. For crying out loud, that girl, JC Sheldon, should have been kicked out of the game. She should have received a flagrant 2. There's no reason why you need to poke somebody. Listen, I get it. She's playing her hard. She's guarding her. It's basketball. Aside from the viewership and the recordship and the media, it's just a basketball game. I totally get that. There's no place in basketball for like that. These WNBA refs need.
You half expect her to show up to a press conference and ask which team Caitlin Clark even plays for. That's how out of touch she seems with her own league. And if you can call it leadership, it's a weak version at best. No charisma, no urgency, no accountability. Coaches freak out over bad calls. Fans demand answers. Viral clips show Caitlin getting fouled while refs ignore it. And what does the commissioner do? Nothing. Crickets, it's gotten so bad that you don't even expect her to lead anymore. Maybe she doesn't even know there's a season happening. Maybe she's waiting for a carrier pigeon to bring results or trying to figure out what basketball is. Or maybe she was told not to rock the already shaky WNBA. But let's be honest. She needs to be fired yesterday. Her job is to grow the league, protect players, and keep the sport fair. Instead, she's like an extra in a courtroom drama. barely there, and always messing up. How do you have Caitlin Clark, the biggest star in women's basketball in years, and your plan is silence?
Control of the game.
I said you lost control of the game, and here's what happened is those refs around allowed that type of play to happen. That just opens up the rest of the game to say, do you see what I got away with? I'm going to be able to get away with other things too. And that's exactly what I said. That's a dangerous game. That is a unsafe game for players to be a part of, because it allows for the other team to make some really nasty, maybe.
It's like the commissioner's leadership is leaving Beyoncé on hold. Meanwhile, the fans are furious. Every game feels like a new episode in the referee rebellion saga, while the commissioner's seat stays empty and cold. Coaches are trying to fix the damage, players are pushing through the bias, and fans are yelling at their TVs, while the person who should answer is probably busy writing a guide on how to be invisible at press events. She's basically a human shrug emoji, and her silence has consequences. By not holding referees accountable and ignoring obvious bias, the league is sending a message. Caitlin Clark and her team are fair game. Get fouled? Too bad. Get elbowed? Play through it. Get disrespected? Smile for the cameras. The league isn't protecting her. It's using her fame, her following, and her talent without standing up for her.
Attention this year, there's also been increased scrutiny about the quality of refereeing. Curious if there has been any conversation about whether it's referee pay, referee training, anything to ensure that is as good as it can be.
Obviously, not every, they're humans, looking at technology. Basketball is a little more complex than tennis, for instance, around technology of officiating. So we're looking at a variety of different dimensions. I know it's a passionate issue. Every fan group, I love when I go into market and every fan group I meet with, they usually wait and ask it as the last question of the night, but they do ask about officiating, which
This isn't asking too much, and the longer it goes on, the more harm it does, not just to Caitlin or her team, but to the league's credibility. People are watching. Fans are comparing clips and analyzing every play. This is a 1998. Evidence is everywhere, and it's damning. If the league thinks it can gaslight a whole generation of basketball fans, it's in for a harsh reality check. The audience sees what's happening. The league needs someone alert, paying attention, and actually present. If it wants to survive the attention Caitlin Clark has brought, it can't be led by someone who treats every controversy like an accident. The players deserve better. The fans deserve better. And Caitlin Clark deserves better.